Well, anyway, like I was saying, man, you need to just get the flow of it. Like, it's the same with a YouTube channel. Like, people get scared before they start one of them, but once you've got the first 2 videos out the way, you...
Because I used to do YouTube, like,
sorry,
no worries, man. I used to do YouTube obviously 4 years ago, but it's different, isn't it? Because I did my category of videos are completely different. I did gaming videos and classic FIFA YouTuber. I was doing quite well. I played not quite well. Someone my age, and so I was on like 1,000 to 2,000 subscribers. I had a sponsor. It was pretty cool.
Really? When was this?
In high school, bro. Like
a sponsor?
I had a FIFA coin sponsor. At first, I did this really cringy thing. Basically, I thought I already had the sponsor already sorted out. I had an email saying that, oh, we'd like to sponsor you. So I thought I was already sponsored.
Oh, okay. Well, they were offering.
So I did my first video. I did my friend Dexter. Like, he's probably gonna watch this right now. My friend Dexter pointed out, I was like, are you actually sponsored? Because you keep putting these sponsor claims and stuff in the film.
Yeah.
And so, oh shit, it's actually quite cool. Pop filter and everything. So basically, I did a FIFA coin sponsor, so like obviously you get a discount or shit if I put the thing.
FIFA coin sponsor.
But basically on the email you have to click on the link, and I didn't click on the link to claim your sponsor code.
Oh really?
But it was already there on the code, was already there in the email, but to authorize the code you have to click on the email.
Yeah.
And I thought I was so gassed at first. I was like, shit.
I'm gonna
be a FIFA YouTuber and be like Roro Shaw, because Roro Shaw was one of my favourite YouTubers to watch, and like back in the day. Well, I think obviously his channel's a bit dead, to be honest, for these situations.
Yeah, I mean, they're always better back then.
What the fuck is this? It's all squashed up. But yeah, it was JTP, get a G. Yeah, JTPG as my code. And me being an idiot for the first 3 episodes after that email, I was literally putting thing, and my friend Dexter came up to me in high school, was like, oh God, I rate that you got a sponsor, but are you actually sponsored? Because like,
and you weren't the whole time.
Because,
oh man.
And then, so I checked it, and I actually saw that thing, and I made a fool of myself. Like,
gave him free advertisement as well.
Because I actually found out the reason why I realised the actual company emailed me saying like, why are you promoting our stuff if you're not actually authorised? It's like, oh, you actually did give me a code, I just didn't authorise it. Oh, that's understandable, just make sure.
They came at you like, why
because it's like, it's false advertising, you don't actually belong in the thing. I thought I got into serious trouble. And we got to serious, like, I was so shook because I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was getting into some serious like lawsuits and shit. I always panic at stuff.
Lawsuits? How old were you?
I was like 13, 14.
I don't think they're going to waste their time suing.
I didn't know anything about the whole not copyright thing. I didn't know anything about all that shit. Yeah, this is pretty cool.
I still don't today. YouTube is definitely fun. 100%. Like, to get monetization.
It's not as good as they used to. I prefer YouTube back in the day, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Even though it was harder to get money back in the day because normally the whole like companies would never like used to sponsor videos. Used to be just like you had to force to get your own sponsor.
Do you remember Machinima and stuff like that?
Yeah, that was like literally. I remember those days with like Phase used to be part of them.
And you have to be part of these partnerships with Machinima and IGN and all this.
You had to literally upload your videos to the websites before you actually upload the thing. It was that bad. Why am I actually opening this like, in terms of...
I don't know. Let's have a look at it. Do you remember the old days with Fred and
Fred?
Smosh and all that shit?
I didn't.
Nah, I wasn't watching them. They were annoying as fuck. But
I remember back in the days when I still loved. I think TGF back in the day. Then
yeah, they were good.
TGF do it. TGF's probably my best, like my favorite, like YouTube channel out of all of them. Like KSI back in the old days. What else? Like, what's some good channels?
Oh man, do you know what my favourite was? My favourite was definitely when KSI and Deji used to play horror games.
That actually was kind of...
That shit was my favourite because it was just so funny.
But that's because we were kids, man. It's that. I don't know.
Bro, I still laugh at that shit to this day. Like, I hope it wasn't staged. I really do because.
You reckon it was staged?
No, I hope the reactions were genuine, but.
I don't reckon
because it was funny. It was so
fucking screaming out a horror game, but I don't know.
The eerie one was.
The eerie one's a classic.
Fucking brilliant.
So I feel like, to be honest, yeah, because I didn't mind my time in high school. I just think obviously a lot of the things that benefit me having a shit time was obviously YouTube. The YouTube channel actually got me into like a lot of.
Gave you something to take your mind off school.
It's not just that. I actually got into like some embarrassing conflicts basically because I did some embarrassing shit. So basically, you know, those dickheads in high school that would like just put your videos on YouTube and all that shit. And obviously,
yeah,
you know, when like they would just joke around and stuff. For you, if I was in your thing, I would have had a better time because I would have met like obviously my close mate George, our close mate Georgie, Ricardo, and all them people. And it's just like, no, I feel like even though it was a shit at school. You say it's a shit at school. I don't know if it's no. I think every school is shit, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what we say. We say it was a trash school, but us, you know, pissing around and doing all that stuff, it made it fun.
It made it fun.
It made it a pleasant thing.
Because I think every school, it doesn't matter the whole source of education. Like if it's not as good quality as it is, like still the same thing, man. I don't know. I would have so much of a better time and fucking, what was it, Chantry?
Yeah, Chantry, it's Chantry Academy now.
Chantry Academy now?
Yeah, it wasn't Chantry Academy when we went there.
Yeah, fucking hell.
They changed the name every 5 fucking
Trying to make it more professional, to get that shit.
Yeah, definitely. Because we got a new principal, I think it was, like halfway through year 10. Or maybe a little bit earlier. And this guy, he flipped the whole fucking thing upside down.
Like, how did he do that?
Like, he was making things way more strict than they had to be. Like, first of all, he implemented, this was before the whole COVID shit, by the way, implemented rules where you had to stick to the left side of the stairs if you're going up and the right side if you're going down.
We have that now, I think, but that was implemented ages ago, so I got used to that quick.
Yeah, but they were strict with it. Like, if you did it wrong by accident, then they'd give you, what was it? We had a C2
The funny
system.
thing is that teachers were allowed to get away with it. Because there was like some teachers that, you know what I mean, they obviously will sometimes do it.
What, tell you off?
No, funny thing, there's some teachers that do it and we point them out not to do it because obviously.
Oh, yeah, of course they do it. Yeah, but they get away with that shit.
They get away with that shit, but it's not even that big. To be fair, it was a big deal because that's like how strict.
I'm so stupid. You were supposed to just push it like that as you were pushing the mic in, and I've undone all the little.
I'm stupid as well.
Ribbons and shit.
As well, bro. We're both in the same situation. Don't worry. I'm enjoying the vape life, you know. You know when vapes back in the day. You know when vapes back in the day used to be like cringy as fuck because people used to bring that little pod shit. They used to bring that pods and people used to think they were cool.
Yeah, when everybody started vaping, it was like a trend, and then it just got really annoying.
And I feel like it's now getting back there now with vapes.
Yeah, I feel like
it's now got a bad name after
anymore.
what happened to that situation when what was it, that specific vape, was it, is it in the vape, because there's so many different variants of those e-cigarettes. Is actually like,
are you talking about that whole situation where loads of people were dying
from the vape liquid itself when you ingest it? That's what put me off it as well, but it depends on the equipment you use.
But to be fair, I'm pretty sure a lot of that was people that were buying faulty THC cartridges.
You reckon it's just THC? On the news, it was just like normal pods as well.
Or cheap ones, or cheap shitty. Ones. Yeah, and the news was just blowing it up to make it look like vapes are.
Because I'm looking at this liquid right now. This one is dank, by the way. So if you were getting into vaping and shit, it's actually quite good.
What is that?
It's called a Good Life Vape. Says CO by like Utri number 6. It's a mango and peach sorbet.
Mango and peach.
It's actually quite dank. But I used to smoke a one called Forbidden Island Maui. It's actually quite decent.
Forbidden Island, eh?
Yeah, it sounds really too much for a vape.
Yeah, they always give them fucking names and shit. Like, you can get like.
Yeah, but to be fair.
Like, have you ever seen Wish commercials on Instagram?
No. Oh, Wish commercials, yeah.
They are outraged. Like the other day, I was getting sold. What was it?
Yeah, but that's what you get in every website. Innit? They promote that on every website.
I think it was this weird surgery kit where you could perform an autopsy on like some baby, and I was like, "What the fuck am I going to advertise this shit?" And you sell fucking faulty shit. Like you can get fake versions of everything in the world on there.
That's with everything, isn't it? Especially AirPods is I think AirPods are the latest trend.
Yeah, they might be the most fake thing.
There's obviously shoes. Shoes, obviously, that's a big situation that there's going on. Well, it'll be a tech unboxing channel, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just get some new iPhones in there. Are you planning on getting the new iPhone, or you're not an
Fuck
iPhone?
that, man. I just go for the best budget. I look at reviews and shit for the best budget. I was thinking of getting the Pixel one, man, but I'm so used to iPhone, yeah. I'm not really into.
Yeah, there was a point when I was gonna get a Pixel 3, I think it was.
Yeah, but I'm at that point where like I'm so used to iPhone with FaceTime and all that crap. Like my go-to like OS for my sort of things.
See, that's what I think a lot of this is. Like, Apple annoys me because they know that people are gonna buy their stuff.
Listen, then man, I think phones haven't really progressed a lot. They have progressed a lot.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, they have.
I know what you're talking about.
Like ever since companies like Samsung, Huawei, I can't say that fucking name. HTC, all those good Nokia and all that thing. I
mean, to be fair, he was the one who came over and like revolutionised phones.
He was the one that first made the smartphone, proper smartphone. The first proper one. There's obviously
like there's that infamous presentation I think he did where he announced, you know, you could have internet, phone, and I think there was one other in one device. Yeah, so that's why he came in and revolutionised.
The problems with phones back in the day is that they were struggling to put everything in one small compact phone. They were like, because the Wi-Fi, have you seen how big the Wi-Fi thing used to be? They had to like make a new way in making Wi-Fi cards to put it in the phones. Because obviously, you remember back in the day, Wi-Fi sticks used to be that big to connect to the thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the big old brick phones and shit where you had the antenna on.
I don't remember much. I'm too young. I'm a bit young for that generation, but I remember this from like. I obviously used to study tech in electronics and shit, but they literally struggled to fucking install like Wi-Fi cards and stuff. That's why it was a big thing, because they finally did it in one package, and then it was such a strange device. It was actually quite cheap. The thing that made it even more better is that it was so cheap. Is it tightened properly? But if I do like that, you know how typical people do, like, what the fuck? Because on the videos like that, isn't it? On the pictures.
Yeah, and then we can.
Oh, shit.
I don't even know where that bit's supposed to go. I just put it on the side.
Never had a microphone on the stand before. I just had the simple mic. A whole bulky.
Yeah,
I had a bulky ball basically. I had a blue snowball and a bulky. It's literally a massive ball. So people used to think that, what the fuck is that? But yeah, you can smoke, man. It's calm. Relax, man. The Smokey podcast for a reason, man. You can smoke as much as you want.
Is that what you named it, is it?
Yeah, man, because it's my sort of thing. I prefer talking real talk and then just like be chilled with that as well. You know, those people that don't smoke on camera because they don't want to make a bad thing. Mate, this is me.
Don't want to get found out in real life.
This is me. I prefer being really out there and shit, show who I really am and shit. I don't want to be like, don't smoke kids and all that crap. Because yeah, don't smoke. But like,
yeah, this is the real shit, bro.
There's reasons why I don't. There's reasons why I smoke and shit. It's like get my stress out. Reason why I started vaping, I like the satisfaction. I like to smoke. It's weird. It's a weird thing. People don't get it. Like the satisfaction of smoking and shit. But like with this, like it's pretty cool. Like just put it in my pocket, smoke, boom. That's how it is. There was this time where I only started smoking cigarettes just after high school, like properly, like because. It was just what I hated the fact that my friends smoked until I had a situation just like had stress come over. So yeah, I smoked weed, but everyone smoked weed, innit? So
yeah, everybody. It always makes me laugh whenever you got a situation where someone's being searched or prosecuted for having possession or something like that, but majority of the teenagers these days smoke it anyway. That's one of the biggest things that I keep talking about all the time.
Well, that's really funny that smoking weed is so normal now to this day. I even asked my cousin, who's like a lot younger than me. I'm obviously going to bait him out. And my cousin obviously he admitted I'm not stupid, and I can easily tell if someone said, if you just say no, I can easily tell from body expression, the whole thing. And obviously,
he's
a good kid, so he eventually admitted that he obviously did it. And obviously, I'm not going to blame him for it, because smoking weed, to be fair, has been proven thousands and thousands of times that, like, you know, thousands, hundreds of times that, like, it doesn't really do much. It's obviously, they always point out the facts that like people die from it, but those are for people from like who obviously have problems already in the situation, like from like there.
I think there's been studies that show that weed can activate. What do they call it again? Not specifically schizophrenia. There's like a broad term for it.
It's out of the way, man.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to duck around there.
Yeah, sorry about that. That's just how it is. But yeah, weed is one of them questionable ones that I generally, obviously, everyone thinks should be legal in it because it's just a waste of time. There's like a lot of tax. It actually costs a lot of money to
What's that broad term for? It's like a broad term for a lot of different mental disorders, like schizophrenia come under it. What do they call it again? This is gonna piss me off. Oh shit.
Weed is so normal these days, yeah. But the fact that like now, obviously THC vapes were still all around for a long time now. Obviously, but now it's now just being popular because the fact that no one can smell it. You can't even smell the obviously it's just extracted THC from the actual weed. The weed. I don't know how they do it, but I think it's from the weed seed. I can't remember how they do it. I don't know if you know, but it's so weird. I tried a THC vape the other week, or 2 weeks ago. I can't remember, but like that was such a weird experience. The fact that you could just smoke off a vape. There's many things I've seen.
I think they compress it, don't they?
I think
it's compressed and heated at a certain
temperature. They heat it into a certain temperature. They extract they put it into an oil. They mix it with the stuff they put with vapes and shit. It's crazy because like obviously it's more. There's other ways they do it now. They obviously mainly put in food. Like there's fucking gummy bears now.
Yeah,
it's crazy,
sweets,
man.
Brownies.
Sweets, brownies.
I think there's even a channel on YouTube that is specifically about seasoning everything with THC and weed.
Seasoning, imagine.
Yeah,
seasoning
it's like a
powder.
cooking show, but
THC powder.
Marinating steaks and fucking THC and shit.
Hey, fuck it. Everyone rich, man, is like smoking weed as it's a normal thing now. Because back in the day, like weed was like known as like it's weird. What was it in science? Like they said there was like a types. It's not type in it. They class C, class B, class A.
Yeah.
What did they say? It was like class A, class B, class C. I can't remember.
I think weed might be.
They made it higher.
They made it higher.
I think
it's probably in B then.
B or C, I don't know, but they made it. It shouldn't even be class. There's some drugs that I get it because I'm in that experience. I've experienced a lot of drugs and shit. I'm more open to talk about that. And there's some drugs that should be up there and stuff, but there's some reasons in class C. Like I think ketamine's in class C. It's fucking crazy. Like
yeah, drugs are a funny one because it's annoying if you look at it in a real broad aspect. You know. We're already consuming drugs. Caffeine, even sugar can be a drug. Sugar's very
caffeine can kill you. That's the thing. That's the funny thing. People don't realise that there's actually a big amount of people that die from caffeine overdoses and shit because they drink too much caffeine. I could potentially die of fucking caffeine overdose. I drink too much coffee today. I don't know how I'm still alive.
I mean, I don't drink that much.
When I was back in Portugal doing my lockdown and shit, I drank like 4 cups of coffee a day. Like it was that bad. Like I was that bored that I was, you know what, I want to drink a hot coffee. But I just don't really rate hot chocolate that much because it's not really the best thing in the world. I don't know. Tea's disgusting. You know, tea's got.
You don't like tea?
Fucking yeah, tea's just, I think it's the smell that puts me off.
Oh,
but even though tea has actually got more amounts of caffeine than actual coffee itself, which is quite funny, but it is. Like, caffeine is one of them big things that not really people realise they can actually kill people because those obviously people that work with a lot of stress, they just take it because it relieves your stress and shit. Caffeine, it relieves your stress and stuff. But it's like cigarettes. People smoke cigarettes because they release stress. Even though I find it's a bullshit reason, I think it's bullshit. It's like because many people start off by because they used to think that obviously how I started smoking because of my mates thought it was cool smoking a fucking thing. The way I started smoking is actually started smoking, and it's really bad because obviously we found out later on that it's really bad. We got actual paper. And obviously paper's got bleach in it. We didn't know because this is at year 7, year 8.
Like A4?
A4.
Smoking tobacco from A4.
And this is how stupid I'm a very dumb person when it comes to. I don't think properly. Well, to be fair, I was young, so I can use that excuse. We really wanted to try out how smoking is, so we got. I don't know if I can't remember if it was just like coffee powder or caffeine or tea bags. We'll rip the tea bag I think it was tea bags. We'll
smoke tea.
Bag, and we would smoke the tea, put it in there, roll it up, and we used to think that
A4 paper.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we used to.
I mean, to be fair, I'll tell you something.
If my two mates, three mates actually, I can't bait you lot up because it's really embarrassing how we started it. But if my three mates are watching this, you know how stupid it was. How stupid.
I mean, it doesn't sound too bright, bro.
So basically, we went to Christchurch Park, which is obviously a park in Ipswich and shit. I don't fuck anymore. It's just a small town anyway. So we went to Christchurch Park. We rolled it up, and we actually did some effects. You know, actually.
What tea? What tea were you smoking?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Oh, great.
I don't know, man. I don't even think it was tea. I think it was coffee. Sometimes tea and shit. It got so stupid to the point, and then we actually searched it up. Is paper bad for you to smoke? And obviously we found out there's bleach.
Sounds like something you should have done beforehand.
Yeah, but we didn't know because we always thought that Rizzlers were like just normal paper, but like just thinned out because obviously it's so thin that you can easily rip it.
Yeah.
So we just thought it's the same thing, but it's just basically paper without the bleach. That's what it is. What Rizzlers are. And we obviously found out by searching it up in an ICT class that it was actually bleach, and we realised what the fuck we're doing.
I think I have smoked tea, you know. I don't think it gave me any effects, but... Yeah.
I think we were just that dumb to realise that it doesn't actually do anything.
Just young, bro. You do dumb shit when you're young. I think I've got my own version of that. I think this is even worse, bro. I think at one point, I think we were snorting sherbet.
What's sherbet again?
You know what sherbet is? Sherbet's like, it's pretty much just glazed sugar.
Is it?
Like you have lemon sherbet and shit like that.
I probably.
It's sweets, basically. Yeah. And I think at one time, this was in primary school. You know, we were watching like a documentary about hard drugs, like cocaine and shit like that.
That's what.
And we got a bit inspired, you know. And then I think after we came out, we snorted a few.
Let's just say we were not really bright.
No.
Shit.
Definitely.
I eventually realised how stupid this is, and I eventually wanted. There was a stage in my life where like I wanted to distance myself from those people, and they started clocking onto it, and they tried to invite me more out, and it got to a point where it seriously had some. I don't know if I should trust them later on because they would take me out, and basically. I still have respect for the guy as well. I think he apologised for the situations he put me in and shit. But basically, we were at the park and shit, and he just got this bigger bag of weed out. This much more later on, and we got actually used to actually know the knowledge of what it is and stuff. And I don't know, 14, 15, like year 10-ish. And he just offered me. And I was like, nah, I don't want to get into that. I want to because my mum had my whole families, but I have two family members that have got into a lot of drug use and shit.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't want to put in that situation, and obviously, ironically enough, a couple of years later, it was a different situation. But the don't know, I had a situation where I felt I was blackmailed because he would pressure me into it, and then basically I was pressuring to the point where I'll try it out. I paid him £10 and he didn't give me the weed. He didn't give me the weed. He was like, I'll let you smoke, just wait a little bit, and then they made this excuse to go home. And I was like, can I get my money back? I'm not smoking and shit. It was like, I'll give you the money back later. And then they started,
That's not a good first experience, man.
Yeah. No, I tried weed before. It's just, I was a very dramatic kid back in the day. I used to think that, still am sometimes, depending on the situation. Like with that situation we had at thingies shared with the other stuff. We can talk about it. I don't know if you want to still want the thing. We tried LSD. Also, it's not my first time doing LSD. I had some good experience with LSD, but at the time I was a guy that we did it with kind of put me in a bad mood, which got me a bad trip. And so you saw how panicky I was. Like you can obviously say, I was
you were a bit in the dark end. I mean, LSD it's a really fascinating drug. I mean, they first developed it when they were trying to put people through mind control. I think it was called Project MK Ultra. They were trying to create sleeper soldiers during the Cold War.
Did you know how in movies they make drugs like they don't know, there's some drugs that look like they come from very interesting backgrounds and shit. Like that proves it. That one of them is like you said, it's a mind control sort of thing.
Yeah.
And now it's more.
It's just a casual thing that people.
It was very confidential. Obviously, I looked it up like a months back. It was actually a very confidential thing. Obviously, it was made by the CIA and the CIA.
I think it was the
FBI.
Either one of them, CIA. FBI.
Yeah, big. Obviously, big. How do you say what they are?
I'd just call them bureaus.
Bureaus?
I think so.
Sounds like a boring name to say how serious they are, because they are quite serious in terms
Just
of.
I don't know, corporations.
No,
not corporations.
Yeah, but bureaus and shit. Like, I don't know how they make it into the public and then people know about this shit. Cause
yeah, they declassify. I think that's what it's called when they reveal information. Yeah, it's mad because I think there was even one called Operation Paperclip.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think it was the FBI or the CIA, one of them, they were, during the World War II, they were taking Nazi scientists and then using them in their experiments and stuff like that. So when they developed the atomic bombs in Project Manhattan, and I think as they were racing to the moon during the Cold War, they were using a lot of Nazi scientists, and this was all kept hidden until recently. When I say recently, I mean I think I don't know, somewhere during the 90s or something, they declassified this.
That's just crazy. Imagine the first person as like a civilian to try it. Imagine how weird that experience was to actually comment I bet the first person who's tried it had to come in had to blog it or something.
Yeah, put them through those little interviews and stuff.
Interviews, how their first experience. It must have been crazy because now it's a normal thing now to this day. Like obviously ketamine's a big thing in the UK. Probably the biggest things in the UK that people do as well. Obviously, I can't really bait myself out.
So talk about
ketamine, yeah, it is. But basically, if you guys don't know, yeah, you're probably gonna think I'm some next level druggie, it is. But many people from, let's just say, around Suffolk or everywhere in England know about it. Ketamine. What would you say ketamine is? It's it sounds really dodgy, but
ketamine I think is in the kind of psychedelic area. I think it is because.
But what would you say the origin? What it's actually meant for? It's actually.
What's ketamine meant for?
Yeah, what is that actually meant for?
I think ketamine is. Is it horse tranquilizer?
Yeah, it's a horse tranquilizer. Yeah, it makes sometimes they use it on bulls and shit because it's the same sort of thing. And then some idiot of a human decides, you know what, they just snort it or put it put it out his.
Humans are always.
And then it's somehow made a psychedelic thing because the whole point of ketamine, the effects are I don't know, it just slows down your movements, so it feels like you're slowing down time, so you're enjoying the experience more. And then obviously if you take too much of it, there's something called a K-hole, which is obviously obviously it feels nice, but depending on the environment you're in, it can actually fuck you over.
It can be fucking scary for some people.
I actually had obviously in many cases getting myself in a K-hole, especially at Raven, because I'm a big fan of Raven and shit. Raven's more my scene more than clubbing and shit. Because there's the way a K-hole activates is depending on if you're not moving a lot and shit, if you're just standing around, because basically what happened in my last time in the case of a K-hole, the music shut down because the power generator for the speakers and the rave site shut down for quite a while, so I'm just standing still and shit. You're meant to be moving about so that the horse tranquilizer in your system moves about so it doesn't stay in your fucking body and shit, it doesn't make you have a K-hole. So basically me being an idiot, because I was on many other stuff, I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing and shit. I stand still for quite a while and your body just shuts down, but obviously not completely because you're basically puts you in a dream.
Yeah, I think does it feel like you're sinking?
You're sinking down into your own body into a new mind, as if you're in a separate mind or something. And it makes you
it's like that film Get Out.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It actually feels like that. I felt like it was weird because the reason why it's dangerous because depending on the environment you're in, I was in a mosh pit, so many people could slide when I just fell to the ground. Man. People could be stepping on my head.
Dark, claustrophobic,
and shit. It felt crazy, man. It is a fun once. If you have it once, then fair enough. You have a fucking funny experience, but just obviously be careful that sort of shit. Because obviously, Kate is one of them things. I'm backing myself off because it's really dangerous. The thing they'll take is ecstasy. LSD can't really like have a bad trip from it unless you have like negative.
I mean, if it's diluted with other stuff, I have heard cases of people overdosing on LSD because it's been diluted with other shit, man.
That's with like that's when they start mixing it with like ecstasy and shit. But that's when they obviously the ones obviously to Dodgeron is the ones that from there's 2 CBs, so it's ecstasy mixed with acid. So essentially just drop a pill, boom, you literally feel the effects of ecstasy while the effects of LSD at the same time. It's actually, I loved it at first, and then it drastically puts a massive drain on your body. Like after that, because there's so much going on in your thing. Like,
ever trying DMT?
DMT. I've had a chance, man. Area now, bro. I've actually tried. I've almost tried. Sorry, almost tried. A guy at a rave was selling it. Was just selling it. I was like, what the fuck? DMT. This is my only chance. Rave? Yeah, this is my only chance to try it out. But then I was like, no, this is too fucked.
No.
This is too much.
I don't think a rave is a perfect environment for DMT.
No, man. But to be fair, in a closed environment by yourself, you might have like a panic attack and shit. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know. A lot of those drugs, like LSD, mushrooms, DMT, I would put them more in a category of spiritual drugs rather than, drugs to just do, like ecstasy and shit like that.
Problem is, like last time when we both did it that time, I don't remember much about that night. To be fair, much. But Georgie, my friend Georgie, and him and Kane, explained what I was roughly doing, and obviously you can explain it. You can what was I doing? I can't really remember.
What you want me to go step by
step? Yeah, you can do step by step. I don't mind because it is an experience. Because basically we had and I'm still friends with him, but not close with him. But basically what he was doing, he was like, it was his first time doing it. Basically, and I felt like a bad influence making him try and shit, but he wanted to do it. So basically, he was putting down the fact. He was just saying like, oh, the drug's not working, all that crap is not doing anything.
Yeah, he was saying that at the start, weren't he?
Putting me down and shit. So basically, I was having a bad I was like shit. Cause I got bipolar, which is kind of a situation. I think it's mood swings like that. And obviously, if someone's saying that, it makes me feel shit because like, what the fuck am I doing? Like,
oh, that's what hit off, was it?
Yeah, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
You thought you weren't satisfying it enough with this new experience.
Yeah, it made me feel like shit. He kept mentioning it. He kept mentioning it until. Obviously later on we were in the shed and then he comes out, yo.
yeah. Alright, okay, right. Let me break this down a little bit. I think it first started off when we arrived to the shed. Okay. We were all sitting around preparing for this. There was a few conversations going back and forth, what's the experience like? And then I think we all took it at the same time. 10 minutes in, I'd say that's when the whole thing started. With that other dude, he was saying stuff like, I'm not feeling this and stuff. Because, it takes a bit of time for it to kick in.
Like 40 then out, 40 minutes to an hour.
About half an hour.
Even more depending on the body's system, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think at that point...
And we did it properly, by the way. We proper, dissolved it and shit, and then obviously the rest, we just swallowed it and shit. Because, obviously, the proper way is to obviously make everything dissolve, but for some reason... And I know we just couldn't dissolve it, but we dissolved it, most of it, I guess, to the thing. But we did get the effects later on, because Jesus Christ, fucking hell, that was a weird experience. Because I've only done LSD with mates that I've obviously knew that did LSD before, because that's how I got influenced into doing it. So I was really comfortable. I was really scared of what yours reactions and shit were making it calm and
Bro,
shit.
I love that experience, man. I really enjoyed that. I think 10 minutes after we took it, that was when we were all thinking that, these are duds, we got given pieces of A4 paper or something.
The thing is that was cool with you, the thing that was cool that you did, and Geordie did, calm down a little bit, because you had that thought in your head, I'm guessing, he did, you thought it was duds and shit. The other guy was, just making it open, very open, just saying that shit, so I was in a crap mood, but like you said, carry on,
okay, so I think... 10 minutes in, we were all under this, we had all taken it, and we thought, it wasn't doing too much, because, we weren't thinking about how much time we needed to kick in.
There's room for us.
No, I'm still talking about the shed. After we thought, this isn't going to do much, we all went to his room to try and, get as much experience out from the night as possible. And that moment in that room is when things started to, go a bit downhill.
That's like, to be fair.
Man, I was sitting on the floor, I think it was, and Georgie was on the bed, and all of a sudden, the way it kicks in is you start to feel this really warm sensation around your body.
Mm-hmm.
You feel really relaxed, and then that's when, I don't know about you, but that's when the laughter kicks in. Like, as soon as you get that warm sensation over your body, you start laughing for no particular reason.
Out of all the people, who do you reckon started on the effects first?
I think it was me, to be fair.
You? I had a little bit.
I was laughing, but I was surprising everybody.
I think it was me next, because I was like, okay, this is getting something there, because that time when we did it, I was like a couple of months after, like I was more than 6 months, I was in Portugal at the time, and that was way more than, obviously, than I could have got what the effects were like, so I wasn't thinking out the effects and shit.
It got out of your system a little bit.
It got out a little bit, yeah, in my system. So when I came to, like I said, so it was me, it was like you, me, our mate Georgie, and then the other guy, who I don't know if he's like alright with me. I spoke to my mate Georgie, he's alright with me being open and shit. But my mate, my other mate, like he was the last one and fucking eventually because we all decided to go to the shed, back to the shed and put all the lights back up.
yeah, because we knew this shit was real. This is doing something. Right? First of all,
so you can tell my memory's a bit hazy because I can't really.
Yeah, I think I can remember. I think we put the lights on, and that's when we started chilling. You got your good the sensation in your body, and then a little bit later is when shit started to move. Like you would stare at the ceiling, the walls. It was almost like we were in. It's like the shed had turned into a bubble, and it was constantly moving with us. Because this is what I'll say about LSD. The highlight of that drug is that you get this sensation that the world is like breathing through you. Mm-hmm. Like there's always something breathing. Like there's that. And then there's also the...
There's way more than breathing.
Yeah, there's more than that.
There's way more than breathing, bro.
Yeah, there's breathing. And also, for me personally, I got this feeling that I was seeing everything for the first time.
Yeah. Even
though I wasn't.
I think the problem was we kept getting... basically, what the drug was doing to us, I think I remember it was making us locked onto one certain thing. We look at something, and our eyes will forcibly watch the thing without us thinking about it. So basically, this is obviously when the ceiling part comes in, the lights just made me trigger a motion where I have to always lock on to the certain thing.
Yeah. You were definitely locking on this shit.
But this is the worst thing I did. Obviously, since we realised that our vision was locking onto things, me being an idiot, I laid down, I just looked up, and obviously I couldn't move. I couldn't doing that. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? But yeah, it wasn't just breathing, bro. It was way more. There was way more things. We obviously started seeing the door was moving off.
And then there was the train as well.
The train.
Oh yeah. Yeah. As soon as we put the light on and had it on the ceiling, we were all kind of facing upwards like that. And then as we stared at the light, me personally, I don't know about you two, but I started getting this feeling that we were on a train because we were all staring at the ceiling, and it was like
I think the lights.
It was like we were going through some tunnel or some shit. And
because the way it was moving, it was as if it was a tunnel or something. But that's what I felt like. I did have that sensation of all going through a little journey and stuff.
Especially with the music as well.
You put the music on, bro. You made it even more stereotypical, putting the fucking. The music,
the little visuals,
and shit. I remember that shit. I kept getting locked onto the screen. I was like, "What am I doing, bro?" I'm not even making my mind do that. It's my eyes just attracted to it. It's like I was mind controlled or something. It felt really weird. And obviously we'll hear noises and shit. But what the fuck? There's that birds as well. When the seagulls came in, that was what the hell?
One more thing as well. I'll say that LSD, although it's a good drug, it's very, very easy to go into a bad trip. Because as I was going through the phone, even a slight thing like a YouTube advert, I don't know what this was, but there was some puppets on or some shit, and I was going through these visuals. I was on And then as the advert came on, you know, it kind of tripped me off a bit, and I was like, I can't look at that anymore because otherwise that's gonna start fucking me up.
What I remember was the next morning, we were literally just all quiet in the shed, like, what the fuck are we meant to be doing? Could we turn off the lights? And then like we still had the effects. It was that.
Bro, I think it got so bad that at about 4 o'clock in the morning we were trying to order Greg's to be picked up at 11 in the afternoon. Yeah, Greg's of all things. I think it was 2 o'clock in the morning. We were trying to order pizza, and we were doing that for half an hour until we realised the Domino's was closed. Like it closed at like midnight or some shit.
We were pretty stupid.
Bro, our minds were somewhere else. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah, the worst thing is that we felt bad for the other guy because he really wanted to get some sleep, and that's even more funny when the other guy came in. I can't remember how he came in. Because I don't remember him coming in. I was so locked on when I was laid down. I think all I heard was the door opening, and all I heard was the guy's voice.
Bro, this guy came in, yo. This guy was telling us stories about him wrestling with his cover in his bed. Yeah. He was telling me that he felt like he was in a desert trying to wrestle through a sandstorm or some shit. And then half an hour earlier than that, he was saying shit like, yo, this isn't doing anything, bro. I'm not feeling anything. And then the next thing you know, he's in a sandstorm.
That's how it is. Yeah, I should have gave a better explanation, but I'm not really good at giving explanation. That's why I said to all of you lot, which I'm glad you came, like you just would come with it. Georgie was like, yeah, it was good, but I'm not gonna do it again, which is fair enough. I respect that. He did it. I didn't pressure him, by the way. I didn't actually pressure him. He just wanted to try and see how it goes and how it is. You just wanted to try because
yeah, man.
I love how before that you were not even interested in that sort of shit. You were like, yo, that's a nutty thing. It's like a nutty thing.
I was saying that I had a natural only policy. That was it, and I'd only take stuff like shrooms and weed. But
shrooms is like, I don't know. I think it's the same level. I reckon I've tried shrooms before, but I think I didn't take as much as I should have done because it was a weird experience of shroom. I did it in the forest. Yeah, it sounds dodgy. I always do everything in the forest, and then
try and take me like step by step a shroom high.
Because basically we did it in a normal way. We were not allowed to eat. We did it in a normal way. We're just eating it, and obviously the best way to get better, not make sure you don't fall sick or anything. You have to not eat for 4 hours before you take the drug. So that's the normal case. What my friend did, I was like, oh shit, I need to eat early then because we did it at like 9 o'clock. So 7, 8. What was it? 8, 7, 6, 5. So I had to eat my dinner at 5. Yeah, 5 o'clock. Make sure I had the best scenario. And then we got there, and we just got this random guy I never met. Just gave us like a bag full of them, like one of those classic drug bags.
Well, how much was that?
Huh?
How much was that?
We all gave like a tenner, like all tenner,
shit. All chipped in, yeah.
Chipped in and shit. We just like, guy was like, it's your first time, and he gave me like 3 to 5. I can't remember how much I took. 3 to 5, and all big ones as well, not the small ones, isn't it? So you can't obviously have a mushroom like proper in bulk. You have to cut it and shit. And yeah, like I can't remember. I had 3 to 5, and then
3 to 5 mushrooms.
Yeah, but obviously there's reasons why there's different ways of it. Because eating it is the most like the most common way, but it takes longer for the trip. Come on, people infuse it with tea. People infuse it in their drink. People do many things. They do.
Yeah, I've heard the tea one a lot.
Yeah, it's just a sticky one because it took me a long while, but I was panicking because that was my first time doing a psychedelic. I did shrooms before LSD, bro. Like I did that before LSD, the main thing, and I was panicking. I was like, what the fuck, man? That's a bad thing to do because obviously my mate would just calm me down. We would just talk.
Yeah.
Like the best way is to calm someone down, just talk about their normal life, like keep distracted and shit. And that's when the fucking it's banged, boom. It felt like the same way of LSD.
It hits you, does it?
It doesn't hit you, it takes time, but you eventually realise, like how we did with LSD, like you eventually realise there's something going on.
Yeah.
And obviously, so in the forest, we had a campfire. You can tell the trip was hard because the campfire was like, for some reason, like swirling and all that crap. So we had to like make sure we were distant from the campfire because we don't want to like go too close.
Set yourself alight.
Yes, saying yourself, imagine that. And yeah, it was a weird experience because it's much more stronger than I would say.
It's stronger, is it?
I reckon it's stronger.
I mean, you said you took about 3 or 5.
But I don't know, that's the thing. Apparently I didn't take enough. I don't know. Many people think it's not enough, many people think it's enough, but I don't know. That's the thing of eating stuff. I don't know.
So try and describe like when it hits. What do you feel? What's going on for you?
Like you said, the whole thing. I feel like a warm sensation. Like for some reason, like I feel like energetic. I feel like and stuff. And then when I first clocked it, is when obviously, like I said, when I saw the campfire. Campfire was vibrate as if it was vibrating and shit. Because you know how fire does. It does like like that. It was like vibrating even more than usual. And I was like, what's going on? I was like, I started clocking.
Fire.
Yeah, exactly. So I started clocking by saying to my mates back in that day, what the fuck, I'm young though, that day, I was like, why is the fire moving in that fire? I thought the fire was spreading.
Why is the fire moving?
And then he was like, oh, all my mates were like, oh, he's got it.
I mean,
and then,
that was, I'd say that's how it started for us as well, the whole LSD trip. Like, someone pointed it out, and then all of a sudden everybody else clocks what's going on.
I started pointing things out, but I think like some of you lot didn't know, I was not feeling the same way. I was like, yo, what the hell, what's going on?
I mean, I was definitely feeling it. Anyway, continue what you're saying.
Yeah, it was just the same thing with LSD, really. Like, it felt the same. Like it was stronger, but it felt the same way.
Didn't you say you were seeing animals in the forest and stuff?
Oh, that was with LSD, bro. After that was LSD. I had a big dosage. I had like 450, 500 around that. A big dosage. It was me being an idiot. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this 250. Like 250 is like the average what people do. I was like, you know what? Let's go to the next level, which is like 500, just double that and stuff. I tried it. And yo, bro, I was hearing sounds, I was hearing shit. There was some point where I was like thinking I saw a bear. I actually thought I saw a bear and shit. I was running away, and it was
a bear in the woods.
A bear, and my mate was like, "There's no fucking bears in England."
Yeah, in the UK, man.
And then obviously there was a girl in our group that obviously, I'm trying to be sexist, but girls tend to panic more than boys. So when I started hearing that, she started panicking. I felt bad.
You made her think there was a bear in the front.
And I just started running, and my mate had to chase me. He was like, yo, calm down, because I don't know why, because my vision was obviously completely changed, and I genuinely thought I was in a new place. Cause
it does fuck with your senses.
It really does. And obviously the hearing was like affected as well. I thought I was hearing obviously there's a lot of birds and shit, crows were around and stuff. So what the fuck am I hearing this shit so much and stuff? It is a lovely experience to be with your mates. Obviously, my problem was I was doing in dodgy places and shit. I do LSD in a rave because like hearing the sound more, hearing the lights and LSD is so cool.
Definitely with music.
The music, the vibrations you get, like you hear vibrations of the music. The same, mainly if you want that sensation, do with ecstasy and shit. But obviously, I wouldn't advise you to do it unless you really want to try it out and shit. Fair enough, but just obviously take care of yourselves and shit. But the most common thing I've done in raving is like ecstasy and LSD, because like you get the best out of the music, but the best out of the environment of the kind of obviously near the rig, not nowhere near in the forest. And fucking hell, we're walking around the forest. You know what I mean? Like
Well, with ecstasy.
Ecstasy with LSD. Don't mix drugs. Just if you're gonna try something, do it on its own.
On its own, pure form.
Pure form. Obviously test out with a kit. You can easily order out on the internet. Order it, quite cheap, and then just test out for yourself. And it would say if it's got anything. I'd never done that before until I realised I was laced. Basically, I tried LSD once where it was laced with other shit. It kept me awake for fucking days. Like, it was so bad to the point where like. From now on, I always give not always, but I always give my drugs to someone who's got a test kit. I can't be asked to order it, especially if I order it to his house. But what the fuck? Why do you have a test kit? And I'll give it to my mates, and they'll test it out and see if it's real and shit. And that's what I did. And that time when it was laced with like some weird, like I think it was some strong amphetamines. I don't know, amphetamines. Amphetamines, sorry, which is like the stuff that makes you awake, which is strong. It was so strong, it kept me awake for 5 days, and I thought it could kill me because like I will have some sleep, but it's not enough sleep to keep you like stable. I had to miss some days of school because it was that bad. Like I'm not going to college where stress will come into play. Listening to a teacher or being bait as well. I was being in my bed trying to like pretend to sleep, and it was really bad. And that's why it put me off ecstasy for a while until I just like eventually trusted it again, because it's just a weird experience. You overdosed like once or twice. I can't remember. I don't.
What was the song?
I think it was an ecstasy, but I was an idiot. I took too much. You know what I mean? I thought one was enough. I was at that time thinking one's not enough. Take a second one, but me being an idiot, I was craving for more. So I guess it was an addiction. I guess it lead to addiction and shit. Because of the tolerance level, but the real thing is my impatience of waiting for the drug to activate.
Yeah.
So the first one,
you just want it like right now. You want that effect
right now. This is when I was so new to things, and obviously I should have put me off since that thing, but I just moved on. I just wanted fun. How it is, I moved on. First one didn't kick in, so I pulled in a second one, which had an even more bigger dosage than it actually. The other thing I just bought from the rave. Putting that one in. They both kicked in. I generally thought they both kicked in, but then I craved another one. I don't know why. I just generally thought it was the right thing. That was my fault. Don't ever do that. Don't, honestly. Overdoses are serious. It can obviously cause death and all that shit. It's a really horrible experience. But it was a strange one, guys. I didn't remember anything when I overdosed. All I heard was people telling me I was foaming out of my mouth and all that shit. That typical overdose you see, and like thing that actually it does happen. Like foam does come out of your mouth, depending on the situation you're in. And I was just literally like, my body was shaking. I even had a point where I was spazzing out and stuff. Like, it was that bad. I was like, but then even still, my mind was just like not thinking straight, and I still just moved on in the situation and carried on doing it. But from that, I think I've learned from that not to do anything. I'll just do one. And my way to do it, I'll just bring a tenner. I'll bring a tenner.
No more. You'll be tempted.
No more, and be tempted. I used to bring like 30 to 40 quid into a rave, man. And I was really like, I was so desperate for having drugs and shit to have fun. Because the whole thing of like raving and shit, there's obviously many people think that if you're going to a rave you have to take drugs and shit, but that was my mentality and stuff. I've always thought that, but I learned from a couple of mates, because a couple of mates, I'm not going to beat them out, I know for a fact, I've asked them before if I can mention them, they said no. They can mention me but not their name and shit. They said that like they were at that point where like, oh, do I really need drugs and shit? They just start drinking alcohol and shit, and they generally feel the same way. I just don't like alcohol, because I really don't like alcohol, because like, I just don't like the way it gives you a proper mind fuck, like proper hangover and shit. Yeah,
it's just a bit too much.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole drug culture is weird anyway, because, you know, as you're growing up, a lot of places that young people like to go to, festivals, raves, even, you know, if you're passing around, you know, a joint or some shit like that, even if you're not peer pressured to do that, you're still going to get that kind of thing in your head as if like, oh, you know, I want to be part of the group. I want to be part of... So even if you're not peer pressured, you may still take it just to be a part of the little group that you're in. And same thing with festivals and raves. If you go to a festival or rave, there's an 80% chance there's going to be multiple plugs walking around. And
100%.
Yeah, and the majority of people at festivals are going to be doing
the biggest
drugs.
one I've saw in festivals, I've been to only 3 festivals, which is Reading, Sundown, and I went to, I can't remember the other one, it was like a minor one, it wasn't really considered a festival, but people had, I don't know, it was like a drum and bass scene and shit, it was more of a rave more than anything, a festival. And Sundown was the biggest situation, because me personally, when I went there was actually, I saw a woman actually fucking die from an overdose and shit.
At Sundown?
Yeah, they had to open the gates for the thing to allow the...
And she died, did she?
She died, it was on the news the next day,
Oh,
I looked it up. It was fucking horrible, but obviously it was a massive crowd, I didn't actually see the person die, but I know for a fact the girl from around the angle, can you see like, she was spazzing out and that shit. It was weird because she was a young girl, like she was a young, not even older, like she was a young, like 16 to 17. And unfortunately the festival didn't really do much to do it. It's really hard to stop people from doing it, because literally many people find their ways of hiding their drugs and people put in weird places. So
it's really annoying as well, because every time someone has an overdose or dies from a drug, the media and the government make it seem like that was her fault, you know? She took that and she suffered the consequences.
But that's the thing, her friends actually, I saw the thing, people think her friends think that she got spiked. She didn't actually want to take the drug.
Yeah, that's the whole problem with this drug culture. Like, I think it was the 90s and then somewhere near the mid-10s, the government implemented two, what do you call them? Laws or whatever.
Laws.
I think in the 90s, there was a massive carpet ban over drugs like, you know, weed, shrooms, stuff like that. No, not shrooms, weed, you know, heroin, all these smaller drugs. And then during the late 10s, I think it was like 2007, somewhere around that area, they did a massive carpet ban on like psychedelics.
Mm-hmm.
So everything from DMT, LSD, even what do you call it? What's the other one? Not sativa. Not it's something.
Even experience with drug, I don't even.
Never mind. It's cool.
Yeah.
But they implemented 2 of these carpet bans, and they haven't done any research on any of these drugs. All of the research that they have done on these drugs has been to purposely find bad things about them.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for like a research company, not research company, but it's hard to do research on these drugs when you've got so many of these restrictions that have been put in place. And then the media and the government are gonna make it seem like it's a youth problem. You know, it's your fault if you take these drugs to suffer consequences. But they need to understand that kids these days are gonna take that.
The big problem is that it's not just the rave culture and shit, it's in clubs as well. Clubs, they deal with
everywhere,
it as well.
man.
Everywhere, man.
Yeah.
They make it, even bars, bro. Like, honestly, it's not even, it's the people just, the media just make it seem like it's these festivals and shit, like, or a place like Ibiza and stuff.
Even a lot of professions, like
professions.
Rap is one of the most popular genres of songs.
This is unfortunate. A lot of music artists that kind of like make the stereotype bigger and then like.
Yeah.
I mean, Zan, you know what I mean? Xanax.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. Like, drugs are tied into today's rap culture, and if teenagers and the youth are primarily listening to rap,
obviously the biggest artist to die recently was Juice WRLD.
Yeah.
The way he died was very like, what the fuck? He died in an airport, like he overdosed in an airport.
That's been a trend recently. A lot of those up and coming rappers will just all of a sudden have an overdose.
It's crazy because
I think Lil Peep was Xanax.
Lil Peep was probably one of the biggest ones. One of the biggest ones.
I mean, he was one of the first.
Really? You reckon?
I think he was one of the first of that group, like Lil Peep.
The newest generation.
The known ones, you know, like Juice WRLD, XXX, you know.
XXX
died after Lil Peep. But he wasn't drugs. He got shot. But
he got shot.
I'm talking about like the group of like, you know, SoundCloud rappers, you know, that have been dying recently. Most of them has been drugs.
A lot of role models that I wouldn't classify as role models, but they do it because they love their music. Like Lil Xan, I don't rate the music, but people respect him. And obviously he makes his name out of the whole thing. He stopped doing Xanax, ironically enough, and his name's called Lil Xan. So obviously people know him as Lil Xan because obviously the Xanax thing and the whole thing, and obviously people love his like weird sort of music. And he's not going to change his name because of
I don't even think he does music anymore.
Oh no, I think
he's stopped.
I think he's currently, he's got a kid now, hasn't he? So like,
has he?
I can't remember, but I don't really pay attention to Lil Xan anymore. It's one of them situations. Like,
I mean, I never even liked that guy.
I don't even like the first one that got him popping.
Slingshot. A lot of people like Slingshot. I think it's a massive piece of shit.
Should be read. Big example of like someone who takes a lot of drugs and shit. I don't know if he. I bet it hasn't. I don't know about that. I don't know if you. I don't really.
Trippie Red definitely takes.
Takes a lot of shit.
Of course.
God, he looks like a fucking freak.
A Lil Pump as well, bro.
Lil Pump, you can tell.
Yeah.
He's a fucking idiot. So.
A lot of these up and coming SoundCloud rappers, in my opinion, popularized lean.
I don't think. I don't think
lean,
SoundCloud's a big thing anymore now.
Xanax, codeine. A lot of these drugs, I think, have been massively popularized by.
Me, I love American music and shit. Like, I love the beats they make. I love the tunes and like the recent. Like, I love how they implement into the English culture, especially with the the recent one from J1 with Blueface.
Kirby, yeah.
Okay, you listen to that? It's actually a banger. Not gonna lie, I didn't expect that. I don't know, like when Drake comes in, I think Drake kind of ruins the whole thing of mixing two cultures. Because I don't know, Drake is one of them ones where like his songs bang at first, but like people start realizing how stupid like it's not really the best songs in the world, is it? So. What do you rate? I used to rate a lot of Drake. To be fair, but
I mean, I like a bit of Drake every now and again. Yeah, a lot of people say that, you know, he's a culture vulture. Yeah, but I personally
that's
think
the whole, and that topic was brought up again when he made that song with Headie One, because he came back, did a song with Headie One. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like Drake's verse. It's kind of stupid. Man saying he's from what was it? I can't really remember the verse, but it was some stupid things that he said, like. But Headie One's was fucking banging, like it's typical Headie One. Headie One makes always things quite cool and shit. But
yeah, I wouldn't say he's a culture vulture, but I would say that he's one of them people that adapts his attitude in certain areas.
Because I was looking at a podcast, what was it, the Filthy Fellas podcast, who has a mate who actually is linked with, like, he knows Drake, and obviously he knows that apparently Canadian people, like Canadian, like.
Yeah, they have the culture, same kind of lingo.
They have the same kind of lingo and shit. They actually respect a lot of what London culture is and stuff. So it makes more sense why he did that sort of verse and shit. Because like, I guess he loves London, innit? Like, he keeps mentioning London and all that shit. Because I don't know. My favourite song with Drake was the one with Travis Scott. The one I can't remember what it was.
Sicko Mode.
Sicko Mode. That song.
Right, I can't even listen to that anymore, man. It's been way too.
It's way too played.
Yeah, definitely.
Sicko Mode. Travis Scott has been downhill, man. I don't know, man. I listened to that song with he did after he broke up with Kylie Jenner. What was it? High in the Room.
Oh yeah, High in the Room.
I like that song, but after that I didn't rate his music after that, to be fair.
I mean, I think he's mainly just been featuring recently. You know, I think he was at his peak when he released Astro World.
It's a bit of a similar situation with 21 Savage. I loved his music, especially with a lot. Bank Account. No.
You haven't?
No. After a lot, I thought he dropped off. Like, I think ever since the whole British, always.
I wouldn't.
That killed his career. No, I didn't. I wouldn't kill his career.
I'd say. I wouldn't say he's dropped off. I'd just say he's been quiet. But now he's released the whole album, and you know, there's a few bangers on there. I've gave it a little bit of a listen through.
My favourite artist right now, like NBA YoungBoy. I like his sort of his music. Like, he brags, but then he talks deep shit at the same time. Like, it's sort of I can't really say much because most artists do that now these days.
Yeah, I'd have to say, bro, who is the artist again, man? Who are the ones that are on the recent Freshman? Do you know what Freshman XXL is?
No.
It's like a freestyle that a lot of the new and upcoming rappers come together to do.
No, I don't know, man. That's how it is.
Right, I can't even remember his name.
Roddy Ricch, big one I like.
Yeah, Roddy Ricch as well.
He doesn't do that. Obviously, he's taking a slow approach now. He's releasing bangers after bangers. Little TJ. His voice is a bit.
Yeah, I don't mind him.
You don't mind him.
He's a bit.
Who do you reckon is the most overrated rapper? Or most overrated artist at the moment this time? At this time right now.
At this time,
because our mate Rick thinks the best upcoming artist is the best artist at the moment is the Baby.
I'd say he's probably up there lyrically as one of the best, but the most overrated I'd probably have to say is at this current moment is Travis Scott. I mean, he hasn't really done anything since Astro World. There's just been a few features every now and then.
I didn't rate Astro World that much.
Of course, huh?
I didn't rate Astro World that much. I only liked like 2-3 songs.
Yeah, I think
Sicko Mode was obviously the one that everyone in the every club in the fucking UK was playing and shit. Every place was playing it, and I don't know. It's just like
one of the weird ones for me was when Lil Uzi Vert released what's the album called again? Eternal Take.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
That was a weird one for me because a lot of people were waiting a very long time for that album. Like, that album was supposed to be, like, Travis Scott's Astroworld to Lil Uzi Vert.
Mm-hmm.
And it was weird because it was delayed for so long. Like, he was having problems with his label and stuff like that. And then out of nowhere, I think he put something on Instagram saying, like, oh, I'm releasing an album. I'm releasing Eternal Take. And everybody was like, what? Like, where has this been? and it came out. And I think, yeah, it was a little bit disappointing.
Even though lyrically, on its own, Juice WRLD wasn't really good at it, but obviously his the beats that he'd make, the sort of music he'd make was kind of like, I loved his music. Obviously, since he died, obviously I looked at like similar music, and that's when I came across his he had like a guy, you know, the kid Leroy.
Kid Leroy, yeah.
Leroy, yeah. I actually like his music, but a lot of people don't rate it because people think it's like, oh, overshadowing. I can't even say the fucking word, but they're just like trying to like copy his music. That's what I don't like about these days, because people just think that, oh, everyone's copying each other and shit.
Have you heard Diva with Lil Tecca?
Oh, Lil Tecca. That's the thing with Lil Tecca, man. Like, after Ransom, I just generally feel like
he was a bit of a one-hit wonder, wasn't he?
You reckon? Because
unless he's gonna release an album at some point.
He did say he's gonna retire. Like, he didn't like making music at one point, but it's a bit of a lie. He made a song with Kid Leroy and shit. He made a song with Lil Skies. Lil Skies. I don't know what happened to him. Now all of a sudden now he's making music now.
Yeah, he was dropping Lust and everything like that. Lust is one of my favourite songs.
Now I listened to his latest song with Lil Mosey and what's the other one?
Probably another Lil.
Most likely, you know, because everything's all Lil everything and shit. But that song was a banger, not gonna lie. It's just that guy ever since. I used to listen to Lil Skies like 4 or 5 years ago, like back in high school. I remember listening to this guy in high school. I
need to get that one of the most famous tracks he did.
Which one? For who?
For Lil Skies. This was one of the first songs I heard.
Girlfriend.
That's it. Nowadays,
yeah, exactly.
That was one of the first songs I heard.
That's what he made. He made a new take on music. So I wouldn't say it's a new take, but a new fresh on the song, like the sort of music that sort of thing was. Because like, I don't really Lil Skies anymore. Because I don't know.
He hasn't made anything recently.
Another contender for Overated is fucking hell. Probably obviously he was in the news for like loads of times. Kanye West. Yeah, Kanye West is shit. I'm sorry.
Really?
I genuinely think he's shit. Like,
this is the problem with Kanye West, because he was good back when he was releasing albums like Life of Pablo and shit like that. That's when I liked him. But he's a weird character.
He is a weird character.
Like,
he's been doing the last 2 years.
Away from rapping. Like, did you hear the Christian album that he did?
No, I don't listen to Kanye West that much anymore, man. But
one of the most recent albums he released, which was kind of controversial, was it was like a whole album based around the Christian faith. So a lot of the songs were about God and.
Do you think his personality is what his personality is in real life? The things he does, obviously he fucking candidated for president and shit. Like, do you think that's what he is? Like, he's like a guy with a weird persona.
Oh yeah. I don't think he's like acting. I don't think he's acting.
Because that'd be really fucked up if people found out he's not actually like that. Because
I think he deals with bipolar disorder himself, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he goes for a new level, because that's some serious shit. I would never, in my life, if I had that chance, I would never candidate. Do you think it was a move? Like, it was a stunt move to get his album bigger?
What, the president thing?
Nah,
not that.
That was the biggest discussion, because everyone would just think, oh, he's just doing it to promote his album.
Yeah, I don't think the president thing was a stunt. However, a lot of the stuff that he says on Twitter, I do believe.
You reckon?
Some of that is to promote his
album. Why do you think it's not a stunt though? A stunt thing, because such a random thing for like.
I mean, have you listened to the latest Joe Rogan podcast with Kanye West?
Not really.
I mean, when you hear him...
a lot of Joe Rogan is one of my favourite podcasts, but I don't really... He made too many episodes, I can't really...
Yeah, you can't catch up. Yeah. I like a few of them, but... I mean, the latest episode, you know, you can hear like... He sounds genuine. He doesn't sound like he's trying
to... Sure, because people can just act on a podcast. You can act in anything. You can act around your family. You can act like anything.
I mean, he could be acting.
That's the thing. I'm not going to judge that because obviously I'm going through that sort of situation as well. But it's not nowhere near to that extent because everyone goes through their different various phases of that shit, and it's a horrible experience. But like, when it's getting to that weird stage when you're rich and you can be able to do all these things, like especially when you're married to one of the most fucking infamous fame can change that a lot. Sorry about you lot. We had a bit of a break. Coffee
break, man. I mean, I can understand with Kanye West why people think he's made this kind of persona for himself, because, you know, this guy's got, I wouldn't call it it's like a kind of a cult thing, isn't it? Like, this guy's so deep into his faith that, you know, he's got people wearing like these red dresses and shit. It's kind of freaky.
Obviously, he's very known for obviously doing his shoes. Very well known in multiple cultures, the guy and stuff. Obviously, I ideally know him. I do know some of his music, but I ideally know him because of his shoes. Obviously, I'm into shoes and stuff. But yeah, the guy is probably one of the most well-known artists out there. I don't rate him much as an artist, but I respect the fact that he's a well-known celebrity throughout the case. And
definitely an entrepreneur.
You reckon he's a billionaire? Probably, most likely, isn't it?
Of course, yeah, of course.
Yeah, because the Yeezys and shit.
I mean, do you know where he lives? Have you seen his house?
No, I don't pay attention to that.
Fucking hell, man. Beautiful.
Whenever I see an artist, already think a big house. That's how
Bro, his house looks like an art gallery.
You reckon?
Yeah.
An art gallery. Oh yeah, I kind of do know that because that stupid video that did the Kim Kardashian, the 108 quid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a really cringy video because it looked.
Can you believe we have a jacuzzi?
Because it clearly was a stage and shit, but
I know. Can you believe we don't have a jacuzzi?
That was so cringy. Not gonna lie, kind of made even more mean because of the face expressions you would do, especially when he was around the kids. That was kind of a big moment.
Southwest, is that what they named their kid? That's it, Southwest. Have you seen what she has? She has a tree house that is pretty much another home. Like, that's fucking nuts. Like, I would rather live in that tree house than my house.
They make it look normal, man. They make it look normal on things. Like, to them, it's normal. But then to us, it's like, what the fuck is this? You know
Imagine living that kind of lifestyle.
I think the best person to showcase the good life, but without making it a big brag, like, I don't know, you don't really watch football, I know, because he's Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
That guy, he low-key flexes, but in the nicest way possible. He doesn't actually low-key think, because he does many things, obviously showcases money, like he does it in good ways, like he does charities and that shit. Kanye West does charity as well, but he doesn't brief it as much. With that, it's funny how rich people don't realise the ignorance they showcase on the media, on their social media and shit, because fucking hell, people like Kylie Jenner, fucking hell, she just stuck up.
I mean, they didn't really earn their money for their brains, did they?
Yeah, she's known. Yeah, the only thing I respect is that she used that fame to make her cosmetic shit, make her the first billionaire, the first young billionaire.
To be fair, I did hear, I think, on the Joe Rogan podcast that she was doing some stuff for prison reform.
Kim Kardashian.
Yeah,
she was apparently she was a certified lawyer. All I know Kim Kardashian still to this very day is a sex tape. That's all I know. It's the funny thing.
Who was that with again? Was that Tiger?
No. Tiger,
no, that wasn't Tiger.
That'd be quite weird. She slept with Kim Kardashian and then got with Kylie Jenner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very strange.
That'd be a weird family. Awkward at fucking dinner parties.
No, it was a washed up rapper, innit? Like some of them people that it is, and then he's got famous out of that, and they use that to make a show. Like even Kim Kardashian, I think to this day admits that it was used as a way to get the show ready and shit. So because who's the mum again? Well, Kris Jenner, innit? Kris Jenner and Bruce Jenner were already famous for what they're doing. Bruce Jenner was famous for being Olympian.
Yeah, he was.
He's randomly changed to a woman, but you know what I mean. But obviously, don't get me wrong, it's normal if you want to feel comfortable in your skin. I get it, completely fair enough. It's not a joke, and yeah, it's completely weird how people like that can get famous. It's really weird.
America, is it only the UK who has the 6-person gathering thing? That is, isn't it?
I think so, yeah, because Boris comes up with some weird tactics in it, so it's a weird transition, but Boris, do you reckon this whole shit is actually controlling, this new stuff is controlling it? is controlling it well. Do you reckon it's not? It should be more than that to control this virus. You know what I mean?
I don't mind the new idea they've come up with where you have the 3-tier system of cities, but have you heard a lot of the like theories? Like, have you talked to people about how they think about this?
I don't deep it as much. People may think it's like a controlling thing.
I've heard a lot of different things, but the one that probably makes sense to me a bit more is that at the beginning of this whole COVID thing, I believe it was a serious thing that needed to be dealt with quickly. But I believe
trust me.
But I believe now. I do believe, considering you've got this much control over the country, like with the whole track and trace app and stuff like that, I do believe that this may be being used for other things.
I've seen it with the Apple update is actually, no matter what, it's still tracking, it actually is purposely tracking.
It's forcefully implemented.
It's forcefully implemented for a certain amount of time until this whole shit's done out here. So our phones know where we are and shit. Apparently the government knows where we are, or it's Apple that's.
I mean, to be fair, your information is probably in someone's hands anyway.
It is.
Like, there's no
Deeper
way.
as much. There's someone out there in the world who probably hacked into your phone, not made you realise, and probably has some things that you probably want to have. And obviously, I'm not going to discuss that, but it is what it is.
Like the whole situation with Snowden.
Snowden. No.
Yeah. Well, Snowden was. I can't remember what his job title was, but he was programming or some shit like that. Anyway, I can't remember the dates, but he exposed a massive sector of the government in America for spying on people through their phones. Mm-hmm. But it just makes me laugh how only just recently they've deemed that to be illegal. Mm-hmm. But it's still happened. Mm. Like, they just got caught out. Like, then the government, you seriously believe the government's going to stop tracking people's phones as soon as they're like, oh no, these guys, that wasn't supposed to happen.
How do people find out though? So I'm not really familiar with that sort of situation.
No. Snowden leaked that information. He exposed the government for spying on people, and then.
Oh really?
Yeah, and then he.
So he's like a hacker then.
Yeah. He's seeking asylum in Russia at the moment.
Oh.
So he's in Russia because they were trying to get him before he got out. And he's trying to get a pardon at the moment.
The thing I don't like is the excuses that England do. Like, look what happened. There was a scenario that happened with Russia and England. Apparently, Russia hacked the England. I can't remember what it was, but it's, they wanted to get a cure for the thing desperately, so they hacked into the thing and stole information. Like
they wanted for the whole COVID?
For the whole COVID thing, because they want to be the first country to get the glory and shit, because obviously
was that recent, was it?
I can't remember if it was recent or around, but I remember it was a case, like, I don't know, because they were threatening Russia, just like, oh, if you stop with these fucking things, they were blaming it all on Russia, and then fucking Putin replied back, like, no, it's not us and shit, you're just making bullshit, you just leaked the information and just blaming it all on Russia and stuff by saying they hacked it. Because obviously the first country to get the vaccine, the proper vaccine, because they keep saying these vaccines come along.
Yeah, all of them are saying
bullshit. Because why you couldn't get a vaccine if doesn't work? You know what I mean? It's not. It's an attempted vaccine, but it's not a truly vaccine. That's why I don't like the media, because they keep putting it as like a proper vaccine and shit. That's why when I was in Portugal, when I was unfortunately closed, the borders were closed. Obviously, I was just so gassed to see the news, like, until I started realising it's bullshit, because on the news, like, oh, potential vaccine being created by the Oxford.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they just say that kind of shit to calm people.
This is why I don't look at the TV anymore, because I don't look at media, because they just make these, like, especially with BBC, they fucking make things big and shit and all that crap to make the statistics more high than they actually is. Been proven. That's obviously been proven thing. But the funny thing is the what is it? Oh, I had a point I wanted to say, because there's some theories, like the whole stupid. I think it was a joke, but the 5G theory. Yeah. That was one of the biggest jokes. I think it was a joke in my opinion, because I was like, how can something?
No. Believe me, there was people that were taking that seriously. I mean,
seriously.
In
there was
Australia,
people breaking down 5G towers.
In Australia and UK, there was loads.
Why do they think internet, even though it's radioactive, like, I didn't even know about
radio waves.
Radio waves, which can actually like lead to cancer and all that shit if you're exposed to it. Fair enough, I get the whole thing, but it doesn't lead to a virus that deals with.
No, I don't think radio waves. It wasn't
until the government had to forcibly say this is not true. But obviously the government won't be lying. That's where the theory kept going on. It's like, no, it's not. It's this thing. Because all of a sudden, everyone was in lockdown. They put up these fucking 5G towers all of a sudden, just randomly secretly. Like, why would they do that? The idea of wearing I've got asthma, so believe it or not, I'm smoking, but I've got some, I just don't feel comfortable in the mask. I feel like my breathing gets fucked up, especially when I walk around in college. Like,
I mean, masks for me, it's probably been the sweat has been the biggest problem.
Yeah, but you work in a care home. Especially
I need to be wearing that shit 24/7.
We have to wear masks now in class. Like, it's really uncomfortable. Yeah, because I spoke to well, now I've got my lanyard. I've got a little sticker basically to say that I've got asthma and shit, so I don't have to wear a mask at all. But I still get stopped by security guards because they don't know you've got that exempt from thing, and it pisses me off because every time I have to explain to them, get this lanyard out. I don't really show my lanyard. I don't like wearing my lanyard. It's fucking annoying. And the way they do it now, because every week it changes. The first week of college, they have to wear a mask and thing. Second week, all of a sudden, sorry, class, you have to wear a mask and shit. It got really uncomfortable because it makes you more paranoid of the situation. I was kind of, what the fuck? And then me, I just didn't wear the mask. I was like, sorry, my teacher's called Marta, but sorry, I'm not wearing a mask. I don't feel comfortable and shit. I've got asthma and all that crap, and I'm actually not bullshitting. That's how it is. And then I just refuse to wear a mask because it's not a fucking thing to brag about. But I don't feel comfortable doing work with a thing that makes me breathe more how it is. But what would you say is other things that, like, say it's failed in terms of COVID?
Oh, what, how the government's failed?
Yeah. Let's be real, the government were prepared for war casualty, like war situations and stuff, but they weren't prepared for a pandemic. They weren't prepared. Donald Trump he's an idiot. Okay, we all know he's an idiot. He was mainly focused on war situations. He never thought a pandemic would come around. This is what I mean. The world's fucked up. It comes up this random situation like 2020, a new century coming on, a new fucking.
I mean, we've had a few of those situations where you feel like the world's about to change or be impacted. Like,
the thing that scares me, these scientists that say that the world's gonna end and shit, we have to be careful. But
no, that's just bull. Yeah, there's a new article every week
Stephen
about
Hawkins, before he died, he said that the world's gonna be fucking ended because of a pandemic.
Stephen Hawkins?
Was it Stephen Hawkins or something else?
I think Bill Gates said that.
Yeah, Bill Gates is not a scientist. That's why I realised, like, what the fuck is he on about? He's a tech.
Yeah.
He's a tech entrepreneur and shit.
Although some of these conspiracy theories are a bit wacky and out there, I can understand why people are getting into conspiracy theories, because when you've got a situation like that where the country's being monitored and locked down and the government at this current moment has so much control over people, you can see,
the biggest theory out there is this whole pandemic is just basically a way to find a country to get control. That's just how it is. Because look how this whole country is thing, the whole amount of restrictions there are. This whole country is now proper controlled now. It's weird.
Well, 1984 is a book written by George Orwell, and basically the book is about. There's a lot of bullshit in. I'm not going to get too into it, but basically, it's about a new government that monitors, takes control of a country and controls the information and everything. And in this current moment, it's not that crazy to believe that we're starting to be heading to a situation like that. Because when you got so much control over people and the media controls the information,
the world does. Look at the asteroids. People think an asteroid's going to hit the fucking planet.
Yeah.
Obviously, a completely different scenario. What happened? There was an asteroid back in around.
I think recently,
one
just skimmed
massive.
the Earth.
It was probably apparently it was the biggest asteroid that managed to skim the Earth and shit. Funny enough, I looked at a certain comedian made fun of the obviously joked around. It's we should be paying attention to that and shit. But obviously, it's been proven that asteroids a very low chance. But obviously, we should take it more serious because if it does,
there's been a lot of asteroids that have hit the continent of Russia, and scientists didn't even know they were in the area.
Because
it's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, they pay attention more to how big it is than things. There's obviously these sort of things happen, and many people think it's a lovely thing to see, but once you see a massive rock,
it is, but you'll only see it once.
You might die.
Yeah.
You know, the fucking impact can destroy a whole city. Like, apparently they were supposed to, the asteroid was going to destroy a whole country. That's how serious it was.
Really?
Like,
That's what they were saying?
Yeah, it was big enough to destroy most of a country, not a whole country.
The one that skimmed the earth?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And, it was crazy, but then people don't pay attention to that. Because COVID is all around the fucking thing.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand what you're saying. Like, this new situation with the whole virus and shit like that was unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
And,
anything unexpected. Look what happened in Nepal. Was it Nepal? The whole explosion? I can't remember the place.
Nepal?
That place got exploded, like a whole fucking city.
Oh, what you're talking about, what is that country called again? Yeah, where the, I'm not sure what it was, but I think...
Lebanon.
Lebanon, that's
Lebanon, that would shock the whole world how big it is. Like,
that was mad.
People care more about how fucking forests get on fire and shit. Like, what happened with the Amazon fucking rainforest? Still going on, by the way, the whole fire shit. There's not as much. Like, the whole thing with the Amazon rainforest. Fucking, people care more about that, some bits of the environment, than the actual big picture, like an asteroid.
I mean, I think it's California now, isn't it? That one's still...
the whole fire?
Yeah. I think they called it El Diablo. That one's still going on.
The rainforest, the Amazon rainforest is a big thing because most of the animals and shit.
The one caused by the gender reveal, wasn't it?
What is
Did you not hear about that?
How was that possible?
The one in California was caused by, I think it was a small family doing one of those gender reveals. I think they were doing it with fireworks or something like that.
Imagine being the reason.
Yeah, that's what I was
Imagine how much guilt you must have.
Yeah, you've legit caused a fire that's destroyed people's homes.
How does it cause a fire? I'm guessing some sort of.
I think they were using fireworks or something bullshit. I don't know.
It's weird.
It was a dumb idea either way.
Spread a whole fucking thing, man. It's crazy.
I mean, when you have temperatures in California, like California is a fucking hot place, man.
It's high, so obviously explosion like that, anything can cause a fire, man. It's crazy. But what was I saying? Like, it must feel so much guilt causing that one incident.
Yeah. You're responsible for fucking people losing their homes and shit.
Like, we've got China with the whole thing. Obviously, Wuhan apparently was. Do you believe it was Wuhan that caused the thing? I think it's already been discussed.
I can't even make a conclusion on that.
Because obviously, many people agree it's Wuhan, but many people think it's America, many people think it's Russia, many people think it's the UK, actually.
Yeah, I'm just going to stick with what I know. And what I know is that
it started
in Wuhan, or at least that's what they said.
Obviously, it's bad that we all blame each other. We should work together, like, in case of the situation, no matter who fucks up, because it was an accident. People think it's an accident. Even though it was from a laboratory, apparently, or some shit. So whether they were testing on, they should have made sure that everyone knew what they were doing.
Yeah, well, I think the one that most people believe is that an animal that was being tested on in the Wuhan lab was somehow smuggled out and then sold as street food. I think that's what
a bit
the theory
too much
is.
of a stretch, though, isn't it? Like,
I mean,
someone just picks it up from the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that
does sound a bit dumb.
It just shows that if that was the case, it shows how humans are careless. Because obviously the street market got shut down, and like how it is. Eventually, it deserved to be shut down after all the shit that was going on through there. But that was crazy. From a bat, apparently from a pig, apparently from many things. Apparently, people joked around as a dog.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I'm not. Jesus Christ.
We're just lucky that we're not in like the medieval times, because
it's funny because we had a pandemic this before, but it wasn't as big around the 2000s.
Oh, the AIDS epidemic. Yeah. I don't think it was taken as seriously.
Not just that, we had another flu. We had another flu situation, isn't it? Like,
I think there was a bunch of them, like SARS.
Yeah, SARS was before the thing. It was in around the 2000s. And other people will say this, it's every 100 years. This happens a lot. Like, it's all to do with scientists, or like how genetics works and mutations. They can't handle the antibiotics, so the infections become more and more thing. It's not just animals; humans do it as well. That's why it's obviously cancer is not the same thing as obviously a pandemic, because cancer is obviously like it's not contagious. It's a mutation. It's a mutation caused by like interferences with what you do. Like, depends on what you do. So like smoking obviously fucks up your genetic mutation from the DNA and shit. Because it's all about the DNA. Obviously, cancer's different.
Yeah, cancer's a weird one. Because cancer, you can increase the chances of you getting cancer, but sometimes, even if you're not a smoker, you're not a drinker, any of these things.
Drinking causes it.
Yeah, even if you have cancer in your genetics, like even if you're the healthiest person in the world, you're still liable to get it.
Eating badly, yeah, exactly. Eating badly can cause cancer. Anything can cause cancer.
And there's lots of cancers as well. Like, I don't even know how many there is.
Honestly.
A cancer for every part of your body, I think.
Cancer for your ears, cancer. I don't think cancer for your
ear cancer, maybe.
Maybe. It's fucked up. Good things in our world brings the bad things. Obviously, biggest one, climate change. Boom. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about that because unless I don't know, man. It's a rough one.
That's a controversial topic. I mean, I don't know much about it, but I've heard some people saying, "Oh, we're increasing, the climate change." I've heard some people saying,
I believe that. I genuinely believe that. Although obviously with cars and that shit, what else? Like, obviously we use the fossil fuels and all that crap. Obviously that's to do with cars and shit, but the gas emissions that cars do, hence why Tesla's doing a really trying to
revolutionise and shit.
Revolutionise, but it's hard to get out of the situation with petrol cars and diesel cars because electric cars right now always crack. Fucking hell, Jesus Christ. Electric cars right now is just at the moment can't be
they're
cheaper.
too expensive. They're not affordable.
It's the batteries. It's It's the batteries, man. The car, the Altaria is really cheap to make, but
I think he's trying his best to make them affordable.
Cars, I think generally at this point of age, this day and age, I thought electric cars would still be expensive, but Tesla's making a good job of lowering the price by every 5 years or so. And at some point, we've got that UK ban now in petrol cars and diesel cars in 10 years time, 15 years time, I can't remember the exact date, but at some point we need to get rid of our...
Wasn't that was planned around for 2030, something like that, wasn't it?
I can't remember, but I definitely
because there's no way that would be anytime soon. Like, imagine if, in 2 years they just made a petrol and diesel ban. Like, that's not going to work. Fucking a good 80%
planes still need to find a way to not use fuel. Planes are the biggest ones that use fuel. People think it's cars, but planes generally use too much fuel.
Yeah, I think they were...
Trains are at the point where they use electricity. They use electricity, so they I don't know how they can't implement that into a way to get things cheaper with cars, but it's the batteries, isn't it? Yeah. Batteries, they come from cobalt, can't remember what it's called. It's really, really expensive sort of material to get, because it's really hard to get. It's slowing, it's not really a...
You know the whole Greta Thunberg situation? Where that was everybody was talking about climate change all the time.
She only got popular because she's a young girl, the whole base, the image. She's a young girl trying to stand up to the whole thing. I do respect the whole situation and all that crap. Especially when she had a conflict with Donald Trump and all that crap. It was really, really...
I mean, no, when the whole Greta Thunberg situation was happening, she was taking photos with big people like Prince Harry and shit like that.
That's why people didn't take it seriously, because what the fuck?
But it was quite hypocritical, because Prince Harry and all these, the royalty or bullshit.
They travel a lot.
Yeah, they have their own private planes.
They travel.
So they were legit getting off a private plane that's contributing towards climate change and taking a picture with Greta Thunberg. How does that make any sense?
Exactly. So you're literally against those people, but I guess you can't fully disrespect someone that. Yeah, they have to travel a lot, but it's kind of their fault, because why they're travelling so much. They what was it? They gave up being the royal. I can't remember.
I don't even know that. I don't even want to get into that.
It's confusing, man. So I find the royal.
I don't even know why the royal family is still here, to be honest with you.
Yeah, many.
I don't know what the fuck.
Portugal had a royal thing. We don't have that anymore. It's pointless. It's just a bunch of privileged people that can get away with anything. The Queen can get away with murder. Crazy, like anything.
Yeah, monarchy is an old thing that needs to be. It's on its way out.
I can see how it's I can see how it's a way to to have someone in control. That's the whole point of the prime minister and shit. Someone that can lead the people. What the fuck do? It's sign papers. and then yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not even too keen on the idea of, like, the idea of one person managing a country that has
it should be multiple
millions
people.
of people.
It should be like a whole group of, like, it should be 10 people. All
I don't think presidents, prime ministers,
but the
kings,
whole thing
emperors,
is the
I don't
problem
think
with
that
that.
should be a
The
thing.
problem with that is that many other groups of like many parties have their own different views and shit. You'll never agree with the same thing.
I need to brush up on my politics, man. I'm not a big politics person.
So
I don't like it because it causes too many arguments these days.
Is it compulsory to vote?
No.
Yeah, exactly. In America, you have to vote, don't you?
No. I don't think it's. No. Of course not. They wouldn't force people to vote because that's the whole.
It used to be like that, I swear.
Yeah, like that's the whole idea of liberty. Like you have the choice to.
Obviously, those countries that do need people forcefully to vote, they get fined for it if they don't do it. Even if you don't agree with someone, you have to agree with someone. It's fucking sucks because no one has their own. It's so much for freedom of speech.
It's annoying because most of the time, instead of voting for somebody that you want to vote for, you're voting for the lesser of two evils. You know,
it's still evil
because you don't. The majority of the candidates they have, you don't. I find like I don't like any of them. You just have to vote for the one that is going to do the less damage.
It was Theresa May that went up against Boris Johnson, isn't it? Theresa May.
I think Theresa May.
She apparently was like many people think she was a good person, but then there's like obviously hidden backgrounds of what she did, and she actually is a fucked up person. Same with Boris, people think he's a racist and shit, and that's the whole thing of when Brexit came along, there was a racist movement and shit, because he was blaming on the foreigners taking jobs and that shit, and they were doing nothing. They were just escaping tax and all that crap. And that's what pisses me off because I'm obviously Portuguese, and obviously I get along with society, I do the right things. Obviously, when I get to the point where I pay tax, I'm doing a part-time job, I don't pay tax. But when I do get a full-time job, I eventually have to pay tax. But I do always follow the law. Because there's English people, no offense to you.
I think you still pay taxes regardless of whether you're doing full-time or part-time.
You reckon?
Yeah, because when they take money out of your paycheck. Money's automatically taken out of your paycheck when you get paid.
Likely, but I definitely have been paying my taxes.
You're still paying taxes.
Definitely be paying my taxes. That's a scenario, I didn't even know that, but fair enough.
Yeah, you're still contributing, bro.
Still contributing and working. And yeah, one day if I do be successful, it's going to suck to see most of my money gone because of tax and shit. Because obviously the main goal is to get a house and that shit. It's harder. It makes it harder for people to get the things they want. But it's fairer because if people were doing the things they were doing, like say someone was doing something fucked up. Look what happened with the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
That guy was doing some bad. People portraying him as a good person, but he was a bad person. Saying he was scamming people and shit. And he avoided paying tax. And he was just being rich. He was being a dick. That's how he is. But
do you know? Although I liked the film Wolf of Wall Street,
he portrayed him as a good guy.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. Well, I didn't even know what was actually going on. Like, although I watched The Wolf of Wall Street and it was a funny movie,
really good at making them look fucking.
Like, I wasn't keeping track of what was actually happening.
I loved the movie. I thought he was like some sort of legend until I realised what he was actually doing. It was fucked up, scamming people.
Yeah, I definitely know that he was doing fraud and tax evasion.
But the movie portrayed him as some sort of thing. It was a comedy as well, so it makes sense because that's what I mean by like these Hollywood movies. They don't fully explain the whole thing. Like, so.
I mean, it's weird when they do that. It's like an artistic thing. Like they portray, although it seems like they're making him portraying him as a good person, they're really just portraying how he actually was. It's the same thing with. Did you see the movie about with Zac Efron in it about the murderer Ted Bundy?
Well.
Yeah, I think the film's called Shockingly Evil or something like that. Yeah.
Wicked and Evil. Yeah.
Before the film came out, people were saying that they were making him look too good, but they were just portraying how he was.
Yeah, from the view of the first girlfriend. Because I watched that movie. I thought it was fucking.
Yeah, I thought it was good the way they did it because how he's portrayed in the movie, you don't ever get to see him do any of the murders or anything until the end of the film, but. that's what people were seeing when the situation was taking place in America. That's what people were watching on the news. They were just watching this handsome dude who looked like he didn't do anything, and that's how they portrayed him in the movie. Because it really shows off what schizophrenia is. Like, you can be anyone. Doesn't matter if you're a funny, really charismatic nice dude with good looks. Like, you could still be a very evil man.
It could be a very caring job, and then a switch.
Yeah, of course.
A switch can turn you into like randomly kill someone. It's crazy, because obviously I don't think every schizophrenia is certainly in that point, because some people.
I think there's a lot of different schizophrenia.
Yeah, it's different. That's why I don't like to point out. I don't judge people until I actually see the actions they do, because it's crazy. I don't want to. I'm not gonna say I feel comfortable being around.
And even then, like, that's not even their own fault. Like, they can't control
the way they're born.
Sometimes.
Some people are born with schizophrenia. Some people are nurtured into it due to backgrounds of like parenthood and shit. But the fucking thing, well, I actually studied with about Ted Bundy in my course, and they said that apparently he had a bad childhood. And
that's a lot. That's very repetitive with a lot of that stuff, like traumatic things you've experienced in the past.
And then people,
especially throughout childhood as well, when your brain is still developing. If you have something really traumatic, that could mess with your whole progress system as your brain's starting to form. That's the same with a lot of controversy surrounding weed. Like, a lot of people say if you are to do weed, you should at least wait till, 22, because that's when your brain is fully developed.
Yeah, because apparently it affects you.
Even when you're 18, your brain isn't fully developed until you're in your early young adult life.
Yeah.
So that's. Hang on, can I remember the word? I'm gonna need to look it up again, bro, real quick, because otherwise it's gonna bug me so much.
It's calm, man. But many people. That's why many people argue of why you should, like. To be fair, that goes for all the people that argue with the death penalty. Because do people with schizophrenia should be who eventually do kill someone, obviously who deserve to be in the death penalty and shit? Do they deserve to be murdered?
Yeah, the death penalty is another one as well. I mean, that's because that just brings up a whole conversation about what justice is and stuff like that. Like, does someone deserve to die?
Cause I had a situation in my course. I had to debate one of my assignments was to debate with a couple of people, and we had to choose between if you're against it, you're obviously for it. I was in the middle, because I don't know, because death penalty does.
Sorry, man. I'm just gonna look.
No, it's calm. Death penalty was like, it does work sometimes, but it's obviously the disadvantage is it costs a lot of money and all that shit, which I find ridiculous. How it costs a lot of money to kill someone, because obviously. Yeah, I get the whole thing, like, a lot of lawyers that they hire for the scenarios and shit. But yeah, it's just, it's a sticky one, so.
So how much does it cost to execute someone?
Depends on the person. It can take,
you know,
it can cost 100,000 to $1 million.
$1 million?
Yeah.
Really? For an execution?
Yeah, execution costs more than that. I've learned that from my teacher David. That's how it is. My tutor. Sorry, I teach high school thing, but tutor. So it's crazy. I didn't even know about that. But
I mean, regardless of what you think of executions, like, it amazes me that in places like Asia, they're still doing shootings, like execution by shootings. That's crazy. Like, if I don't really have an opinion on executions, but if executions are to take place, I believe they should be as humane as possible. If you're going to end somebody's life, I think that should be done in the most humane way as possible.
But that's the thing, though. That's the thing that people argue, is like, why would they care how they die if they're going to die anyway? Oh, it is.
Well, I mean, it reflects on humanity. But
it's still bad anyway. You just killed someone.
I mean, but then again, you wouldn't shoot a dog, would you?
But that's the thing. We don't think of dogs as the same way as humans. That's how fucked up the world is. I would never, even if a dog was like contained with rabies, which obviously rabies makes fucking dogs even more aggressive and shit. I wouldn't shoot a dog. It's self-defense if it was attacking me. but I wouldn't personally shoot a dog. That's just how it is. I would be fucking scared. But out of self-defense, I would kill. Obviously, self-defense, I would kill a dog. It's in a human way, like you protect it. Back in the day, we used to kill people. That's how we used to like defend ourselves.
Back in the day, everything was fucking. Anything was to go, bro.
Survival of the fittest. I believe in that very well. So it is.
I don't like calling the world a good or a bad place. You know, it's not either.
It's a mixed bag.
It just is what it is, man, and shit just happens.
It's a mixed bag. Unfortunately, we'll never be perfect. There's no such thing as a utopia where it can be fucking perfect.
It's crazy though, because there's no such thing as a utopia, and a utopia is impossible, but a dystopia is very possible.
We can cure cancer, but something worse than cancer will pop up later on. That's what we can do. Maybe a mutation of cancer, but something worse than cancer.
There's always some new challenge that
the
human race has to face.
Look what happened in World War II. We fought in wars after that. Look what happened in Vietnam War. Koreans, they conquering.
I can tell you now, there's definitely going to be a war like that within this 100 years. 100%.
I'll be old enough to not give a shit, but I'll be careful for my next generation. You get me?
I mean, I would say I'm still getting used to the way that things impact the world. Like, for example, you know that whole situation with America and Iran, where people thought a war was going to break out then. That was kind of scary for me, because the whole time I was thinking
anything can happen, bro.
Yeah,
you know, can happen. Look what happened when Donald Trump went to, North Korea. Kim Jong Un went to Donald Trump. Like one little switch.
Yeah, that's what was scaring me with the whole Iran situation, because I thought, hang on a minute, if they do end up, going into conflict together and actually officially calling it a war, then the people that are allied with these countries are going to have to step in somehow, and that's when shit's going to get out of control. That's when you're going to have a World War III situation.
Because people just say like, oh, we can still gang up on this one thing. There's always be allies.
Yeah, there's always allies.
Russia's allied with who?
Yeah, there's no Vietnam situation. I mean, back then, I think, did Vietnam have any allies?
Not really.
That's why they were such a perfect target. And we all know that, like, I think that shit was for resources. Like,
most wars are for resources.
They came in, I think the reason they said they went to war with Vietnam was to eliminate communism, because back in the 50s and 60s, communism was the big enemy,
Look what happened with England a couple of months back, the whole Huawei thing, with the 5G.
Huawei, yeah.
Well, I can't even say Huawei.
Huawei. No, I used to say
But basically they wanted China to back off, because they wanted the freedom to sell this product into the thing. People think that the company was just like hacking into people's data and shit, and I completely get that. Look what happened with TikTok. TikTok was a Chinese brand that fucking now is onto America, America bought it.
I mean, it's not the companies themselves. It's just those companies are based in China, where the CCP currently has control, and the CCP aren't really known for maintaining good human rights.
Have you seen the live videos in China? It's different. They don't have they use their own way of using.
Yeah, their own YouTube. Their own YouTube.
It's crazy, because they don't want to like affiliate with other people's thing. That's why with I don't know. It's
I mean, it's annoying, because China are one of the most powerful at the moment, and they have so much influence on media and the culture today. Like, for example, did you see the situation with John Boyega and Disney?
Oh yeah.
Where when I think it was, I don't know what Star Wars movie it was.
Oh, all of them.
Yeah,
of them, man. I think they portrayed him. He's meant to be this big character, but he didn't get portrayed as much.
The posters was the one that made me laugh so much, because the poster in the UK and the United States, he had a big position over here on the poster where his face was clear, and it was shown that he was an important character to the movie. And then you look at the Chinese one, bro. They've legit shrunk him down here, and it's crazy, because that was like given the green light by Disney. Like, fucking Disney, for fuck's sake. They made up, all these childlike movies, and they're allowing something racist like that to happen. That's how much influence China has on the world now.
Fucking hell, it's cool. It's not just China as well. Japan Japan as well, especially when there's black characters in, like, cringy as it is, anime is a big thing. That's multicultural as well. We've seen like when there's a black character introduced into a fucking anime, it's not really like.
I mean, yeah, I understand what you're talking about, but I'd say that because there's not really a lot of black people in Japan. There may be now, but Japan is such
I've got a mate that went to. He's black. He went to Japan. Yeah, he was greeted by loads of people. He was weirdly greeted, like he didn't want the attention.
Yeah, like have you seen the picture of the black people in China, and they're sitting on the steps, and they're being taken, like people have taken pictures of them like they're a fucking. It's crazy.
He went to Japan, and he was weirdly confronted in everything, the cafeteria, fucking. He went to this anime place. He got fucking hell. Everyone looking at him was like, whoa. It's like as if like he's a new species or something. Like, bro.
Well, I think with Japan, the reason that is because they've always been an isolated country. Like even if you look at the history, like
bro, it's not just like Japan and shit. It's just other Asian countries. Go to Thailand, a white person that gets looked at a lot because they just think like there's a threat. They actually just purposely think that. Sorry about that, but how was I
get back to it, bro.
Back to it.
You know, obviously we've got this COVID thing now in 2020, but I think it was 1919 or 1920, they had the Spanish flu. So it's kind of weird how like they've had the Spanish flu around that time during the 20s, and now we've got the
100 years. 100 years, literally. People say like, oh, it's every 100 years now, predicted. But
maybe it's a secret society, bro. They're planning this shit.
But obviously, the Spanish flu was worse because obviously they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. Same thing with the bubonic plague. Like that shit wiped out like half of Europe. Imagine if we had a situation like that now, where we had no idea. At least today, like we have the basic medical knowledge, like how to deal with these situations. Back then, they were pretty much blaming that shit on.
We're literally rushing our vaccinations thing to get this sorted out. But do you reckon it's a good idea to rush it? It is.
Well, of course not, but they need to.
They need to, innit? But that's why I just don't like this whole thing with media, like, oh, vaccination coming up, because you never know. Like, it's just, it's a good thing to be known as the glory country to save the whole situation, which China need to sort that out.
Do you think it's similar with the whole space race thing? Like in the 1950s, big countries, they were racing to get to the moon first.
Oh, that was just pettiness, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we should all work together to get the fuck. We all know the world.
Of course, they're not going to, but do you reckon it's a similar situation?
Yeah.
Kind of a similar situation now? As it was
being known as the glory thing, because they will be known in the books that we're the ones that.
Yeah, we're the ones who cured the big fucking.
Hence why there's all this nonsense of like countries hacking into other people's systems and shit to get the fucking knowledge and all the information to add it onto their information to get that shit. That's what happened with England and thing. That's why England, for some reason, they can't beat fucking Russia. The hell, they had the thing to threaten Russia to start to back off and shit. Because England's got allies and stuff, especially with America. But why are you adding on another problem to something that's not even that deep? We're trying to finish things up. I prefer. They're not going to be selfish and keep the vaccines for themselves. They're probably going to throw it out internationally and shit, because, I don't know.
Yeah.
The world can't be that selfish. They can't just, like, keep the vaccination for themselves, because everything needs to go on, I think. So.
Yeah, I mean, they can't, like, they wouldn't do that openly. Like, they wouldn't come on the news and
be
like, no, we're keeping this shit for ourselves.
There'd be a war. God, that would be another start to a war. It's bullshit.
Possibly,
it's actually bullshit. Humanity, but obviously, this whole perfect utopia, so for everyone to be like together and shit, and not talk nonsense. There'll be no racism and all that shit. There'll be no prejudice. There'll be no fucking.
I mean, that's the ideal world.
That's the utopia. The utopia world that would never in my life.
Happen,
I have some things that I disagree on. Other people agree on. You know what I mean? So you might be against some things. You might be for some things. You know what I mean?
I just try to live my life, man, and treat everybody with the same respect they treat me. Racism is. It's a thing that gets implemented into your mind. It's not something that's natural, like, you know, you're not naturally racist. It's just something that, it's just a mindset that gets programmed into you.
Obviously, Black Lives Matter is a different scenario, because it's a different, like, whatever I say might look at it as bad, but obviously it was a bad timing with the whole Black Lives Matter, because COVID was around, and obviously no one gave a shit with the rules and shit. And obviously America was even more fucked up because of the whole what do you call those people that weren't even part of it, they just joined in, they just fucked around, stole shit.
Oh, the rioters, the looters. Yeah.
The looters, yeah. Obviously big celebrities that we all know. Fucking Jake Paul, all those people.
I don't understand. He's a weird one with me because he doesn't make no sense. Like, this guy wants people to like him, but constantly does shit that makes people hate him, and then he wonders why people hate him.
It's a similar scenario to Logan Paul, his brother, innit? His brother he did that shit in Japan.
Yeah. And I mean, I like him. He's definitely better than Jake Paul, but he's still bad.
In what way?
He's better than Jake Paul?
No, as in like he's still bad. Like it's to this day. He has obviously.
No, he's just annoying. That's why I'd say he's still bad. He's annoying, but in terms of rating both of the brothers, I'd say that he's definitely far better than. Obviously, even though he did that.
There's worse people out there than the Paul brothers, isn't there? But like either they're all very well known for being stupid and stuff. Logan obviously is shown to like show more like regret into his
he's
decisions.
gotten a lot better since the whole fight.
He does some fucking controversial things, obviously still, but it's nowhere near as bad. As I think I'd rate his podcast. Rate the one we did with 6ix9ine. That was a banging podcast.
Yeah.
Even though 6ix9ine just spoke more than the thing, he's a bit of a stuck-up person to show what he is like.
Bro, regardless of your opinion on 6ix9ine, like
6ix9ine,
this guy knows how to do social media.
I don't know. I respect 6ix9ine, man. It shows like even though I think he knows his music is trash. But
yeah, he's already admitted.
He played the game. He played the game well. He played the scenario. He got out of jail and got out of prison like well and shit. Like
and he continued with the same.
His music is trash. I used to rate his music, even though it was some controversial. Like, obviously, he was white, saying the N word and all that crap. Obviously, he was part of a gang and shit.
I think he's Hispanic, isn't he?
Huh? Hispanic. Yeah, he's Puerto Rican. I can't remember.
He might be either Puerto Rican or Mexican.
Another one. What's his name? YW.
YW Melly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
I think he's definitely away now. This guy's in prison for a long time.
That's why he got some controversial because like he made a song admitting that he did what he did. Like it's a bit stupid, but
well, the problem with him is that he claims that it's not him that's doing that. He claims that he has two personalities. So yeah, he was trying to preach that he had two personalities, and that's why he released the song to try and explain. I think he released another one from the perspective of the person he killed. Yeah,
it's crazy.
That was a weird thing that happened.
That's fair. That's honestly
because that was his own friend as well. Like there was no reason.
Yeah, he shot his friend because he mistaken. What was it? The story was he mistaken him for being someone up. He thought that he was going to attack him or something. He mistaken for something.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. That he just he lost control, and his other personality came
deep.
up.
It was one of them deep songs.
Do you mind if I roll up before I leave?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.